Hello, my name is Creole Sticks, and welcome to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I have been waiting to do this quite a bit, so let's it's been just released officially in the West from the Japans.
Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
Swept away by the tides of change. They got so much Edgar Allan Poe, they were like swept away by it. It was crazy. Ooh.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
I think the problem is more that just that one narration is just low by default. I gotta say, because it's essentially the same as it was before, so. But thanks for saying, though. But that narration is just low in design, and I can't change that. 22nd of November, 8:43 AM, Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants, and the Chamber. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? Like, I was honestly a touch annoyed that you can't change the volume of the, like, voice, music and sound. It's all just on or off, and I'm like, Thanks. The highest court in Japan waiting to decide my fate. Yes. What? Oh, no, nothing. Savior glares. Murderer! Murderer! Sorry. My name is Ruinosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting for my trial. That's enough! He is not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. Hi, and that is a windy instead of a bandana. Can I have one? Yes. And yet I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ruinosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
Never asked for this.
Thank you for the host, Sins. Much appreciated. Hell yeah. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Only hit them with a very big stick if they're really annoying, but that's different. See, if they make a fashion crime, they need to be hit with a stick a few times to make it all good again. That's different, though. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ruinosuke. Kazuma Azogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. But he's so far more clever than I, a star student in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergraduate. He's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. Again, I should have probably checked which year this takes place. Now I'm guessing essentially like 1890s or very early 1900s. That's like the fork I'm placing this into, but I'm not sure. My qualifications don't mean much yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma, truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. Your bandana also floats perfectly, even in a restaurant with no air conditioning. That is... It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. Really happy for you and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about a change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Cool. Oh, sorry. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Bang. Yes. Asogi, may I have a word? It's Mr. Mustache. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Professor Mustache, how's the eyebrows? And with the fur ball at the cool. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi. You should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Lovely. Alright then, Ryunosuke, I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. I like the coat. ... Yes. ... And a couple of more dots. And a few more dots. Ugh, this is awkward. If I may... Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know... Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked, never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams would be shattered. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true, nevertheless. I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Ooh, sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand, once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. So we're secretly getting married in the courtroom. It's a whole charade, and it's gonna be fine. I do, but what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant. Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Lovely. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving, there's no point in anyone advocating for the lives of you anyway. And the world went black and white, and time stopped, and I lived happily ever after, it's fine. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over, and what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. Ooh. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. Important point, the trial will not decide his destiny too, so only the Destiny 1 by Bungie, but not Destiny 2, so he could still go to the store later and pick up Destiny 2, and it's gonna be fine. Yes. (22nd of November, 9 a.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, courtroom number 2. Cool. So this is a courtroom. The Supreme Court of Judicature, no court in the land has more power. I still find it kind of like Supreme Court of Judicature, like again, a simple murder trial, but I suppose I don't much like the look of these people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to the ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. It's Judge Beard. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, I'll be married to myself, yes? I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Let's go! Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for this Yes! Let's go! What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I need to yell yes every once in a while. Yes. I, Runesuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. What? What are you playing at, Runesuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. A dashing dash. Yes. It's very... like, you're already dashing, so there's no need to dash your dreams. It's fine. Yes. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. Well, I mean... maybe later in the bedroom, but that's different. This is a courtroom, my dude. We need to, like, that's... getting me off is a different thing for later, alright? That's a whole different story. We might want to not get into it right now. Mm-hmm. It's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel, really?
Objection!
Objection! Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Yes! Yes, exactly. What I wasn't thinking, I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Ouchie. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes. Yes! Kindly state before the court the manner of the victim, the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous, I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ruinosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of E. Ah, yes, the the all-important E that exists in Japan in 1890, it's fine. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press E for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. Do I now press... There you go. This is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with E. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press Z to go back. So remember, everything you do with the current case can be found in the court record. Alright. Now you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the People's section of the court record, then press R to present. Try it now. John H. Wilson, 47. Victim, visiting professor from the medicine at Umeå University from the British Empire. R.
Yes!
Yes! The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Haha. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university, and he looks a lot like John Watson. Importantly enough, Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Umeå University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation, short for AGDFN. The AGDFN treaty, yes, the very simple to remember because it's AGDFN. Yes. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Umeå University, are you not? Murdering a professor in the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting the England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. And his perfectly flowing bandana will not stand for this outrage. Yes. Such a simple acronym. Yeah, it's fine. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. Well, not in the good, for at least. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Holding a gun. Well, the dude was shot. That's not great. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it is not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Yeah? The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. The animation when the hammer hits the table is very sort of, it's weirdly disorienting. Not like in a bad way, but it's like whoa, it does like wait what? Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? Of old age, totally in a different country, and I wasn't even there, and he was broken when I got there anyway, it's fine. State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death? Well, obviously that was, Ruinosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. And if you present it just right, it'll be a Christmas present. And he'll be extra happy with that. It's fine. Time of death, 19th November, shortly after 2 p.m. Single bullet fired at close range, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound, bullet did not pass through body. This is the one. Gunshot to the chest is more simply put.
Yes!
Yes! Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That is the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes. That's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, the police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. Yes, with a hole in the chest. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. Alright, a photographic print that shows the victim. He was shot from the front in the chest and subsequently died. Cool. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. So I can go? Let us start the trial. Oh. For a hot second, I thought I just managed fine. Certainly, Your Excellency. So without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. Ugh, this is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? Ah, yes, clearly, you're the defense lawyer today, not me, but that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Soki must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Second advice is surely loan my katana and strike your way out of the courtroom like the hero you are and live happily ever after. Yes. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Haha. Yes. That is a nice set of glasses. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course, my name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called La Carnival. Ahem. Can we make sure he's been, like, vaccinated, like, a dozen times and leaves the courtroom, please? That doesn't look good. That's bad. unless he's been gorging on a lot of raspberry jam, I think we should adjourn the court here and wait until he's either well or dead. Yeah, I feel like I have masks somewhere around here. We could just, or maybe we could like just wrap his head into his own vest and it's fine.
Lovely.
Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. Does he have that towel thing on his arm? Wrap around his head. Yeah, wrap that thing. That would work out fine. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery 3 years ago. I recently learned that Occidental is like Western, like the opposite of Oriental. So, yeah, important. You learn something new every day, or at least I did. I didn't know that before. I've heard the word Occidental somewhere, but I didn't know the reasoning or the meaning yet. Understood, Hosonaga-san. You will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. Let's go. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? Ha ha ha. It was just after 2 PM on the day in question. We have a few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over and there were only 3 tables still occupied. Alright, 3 tables, cool. That fits in with my memory of it too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. You and your bloody face. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. Bang! A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Yes! I feel like if you keep yelling that, you're gonna accidentally just like admit to murder by this, like, come on, just... Oh boy. Hold on, let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
Objection! I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But... The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ruinosuke, you'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in hand, with gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today. Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Right. Wait, what did you just say? There was no one else around that table? What's the matter, Ruinosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was the lady! Bam, bam, bam. There was a woman sitting opposite him at this table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? We wait and see, because cross-examination later. I desperately wanted to say something, but I was told not to interject. Ruinosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work up, aren't you? Honestly, no. I would diligently get to work about 30 minutes before the test on the bus ride to the test. That's how I studied when I was in school. It worked out fine. It was a lot of work, man. It's just, you just gotta cut corners where you can, right? I suppose I am. I'd never have got into Yume University otherwise. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, But the judge said, if I interject again, it'll be penalized. And eternity games do give you the cross-examination. I'm doing all of the right things, my dude. You're trying to trick me into getting penalized. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously get regretted when you're found guilty. Alright, you've scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. Just watch, the next time we want to actually yell something that's not within a cross-examination, it's a penalty immediately. Like, jeez, thanks. And there is something I want to say. I'm just going to shut my eyes and say it. Yes! Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Objection! Dear me. What are we going to do with you? I love that. Yeah, yes. The yes is something you just, oh boy. With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. The game forced me to disregard. I was about to play by the court's rules, but the game forced me otherwise. That's not on me. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. So he was alone. Cough, cough. I think that's code for not alone. If you catch you, I think I'm onto your secret language. Yes. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to. That's a lot of X's and circles and let me see, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Hold on. Hold on. Just saying. Oh, I'll return to this in a bit, right? Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. He's sweating. There is a secret. They are in cahoots with the business card. Yes. What's that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something suddenly seems to have shaken him. And stirred him, too. The waiter's business card has been entered with the head waiter's business card, a sketch of the restaurant's layout is on the back. This is great. He's not sworn in. The map is handwritten, and we're gonna keep it as in fact for the record. Yeah. So yeah, like, so the court has now heard the precis of the case. Right. So yeah. So in court, if you want to give something as evidence, all you need to do is draw a map of the events on your own, in your own two hands. This is evidence that they were alone. See, I made a drawing of them. Like surely everyone has like heard of the notion that like if you keep a diary, you can't create an alibi with a diary like that you've written. Therefore, like, okay, he is guilty because I made a drawing of the fact that he's guilty. See, I drew him stabbing the dragon in the neck. That means he's a yes. And the fact he's wearing an armor is just artistical freedom or license. Yes, it's fine. I'm sure this is all on the up and up on this courtroom. We're fine. We're fine. All right. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Well, I mean, but that's just because we're in the 1900s and the pictures in black and white. That's just the technology of the time, you see. That doesn't really mean anything. Yes. Haha. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit to your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case at the court. So yeah, as Sin said, not only is he presenting his own drawing as evidence, he's unsworn, meaning not under oath. This is airtight, man. This is black, this crystal clear case of just everything perfectly kosher. It's fine. Yep. This is going well already. Jesus. But I must warn the defense you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. Or if you are determined. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. We are already in court, my dude. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? ... Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual about these peculiarities. You've said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. ... and such. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing to now throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ruinosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Hell yeah. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is, and I will push this finger all the way up the prosecution's nose to find this out and find the truth of the matter. Yes. Let's go. Indeed. Prosecutor Ouchie. Was he like... Is it a family tradition to like drop the children on their face and it's ouchie because they hurt, or what's the deal with the name? Please continue with proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. I'm defending my honor in a murder trial. I think I gotta go for it, my dude. Also, you need to just lay off with the arrogance, because you are full of lies and cahoots. I can smell it in your fan. Yes. Your fan has seen some shit, I'm pretty sure. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Eh. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses. Plural. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witnesses at once. Let's go. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Iesa Nosa reporting for duty. Iesa Nosa. It's as in yes, sir, no, sir. Iesa Nosa. It's very clever. Yes. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Kurio Korekuta, at your service. I'm not seeing an immediate pun in there, like curio as in curiosities, curios. Yeah, that's fine. Korekuta, Korkuta, I'm not seeing an immediate pun in there. We'll work that. Pun names, but they're not always pun names. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. I sort of had a conversation before about this, but it's possible that in the original Japanese it might be like olden or more complicated Japanese, and then it's not. When you translate it into fancy English, it's still fairly understandable in an English sense. So that's maybe the reasoning with this dialogue. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest... that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman, over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. Are you inflatable? Did you just lose a lot of air, or what's with the... This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Again, disorienting gavel, but let's go. Now the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report. Ugh. Do you have a Death Stranding baby somewhere in you, or what's the deal with the... Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. Witness testimony. What the witnesses saw. Let's go. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back the cowardly little weasel. From the front! I will not have you throw these slanderous lies in my face. I will rub them back in your moustache and make them curl in shame. Yes. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. And you make noises. Can you please not? Also, whoa, that's a knife. What times we live in, when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. Luckily you have a knife to defend yourself. Dude, how are you allowed to bring that into the courtroom? I'm pretty sure that's against like 500,000 regulations. Even in a young court system, like, come on now. Hey, while I'm being a sworn-in witness, can I bring in a huge-ass knife because I like to look at it? Like, But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ruinosuke? Yes. All I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down and just as I was picking it up, well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Ruinosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now! Do it! Just do it! By who's that actor? The Shia LaBeouf? Yes. I mean, Kazuma is wearing a katana, so maybe knives are out. That's a solid point, though. That's an honestly good point. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this— Yes! Yes! Let's declare the verdict! Yes! What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? But I need to yell yes every once in a while. It's in my DNA. The defense demands its right to yell yes to cross-examine. Yes. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination? Objection! Objection! The defense is asserting its right. Is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma is so commanding. Maybe he can get me off. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ruinosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witness's statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. And then bang the table. Now let's go, Ruinosuke, don't let them beat you. Platz, like such a... Alright then, it's all or nothing. Cross-examination, let's go. What the witnesses saw. Okay, so I... ingesting regulation beef steak... Black uniform versus cadet. The black uniform varsity cadet fired on the English civilian and from the back, the coward little weasel. Now, we present a Christmas present. This thing. Chest.
Yes!
Yes! Good start, then say something. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. And a few more dots. What? What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting this wad of papers in my moustache? Well, I'm about to curl your lying moustache with the lies of your cahoots in which you are, with this evidence. Yes. In inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes! There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense. What can this document possibly tell us that we don't already know? So many confused people. Yes, well, I would be too if a boy just like raised his hand straight up and yelled yes and said nothing. That's probably very understandable. Yes. That's obviously I don't know what I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in the Grand Courtroom. This is so frustrating. I know. Bang. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the post-mortem report presented by the defense that there is a clear discrepancy here with Sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Iesanosa? Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement he just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir. Honestly, your eyes look a little fuzzy, so, you know, you just never, like, they look ever so slightly more fuzzy than the rest of the artwork, so that maybe he's actually blind.
Yes!
Yes! But no! Yes, but no. That just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... As is clearly stated in the post-mortem report, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound, bullet did not pass through the body. The photographic print of the victim clearly shows the same thing. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. and that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Oh, he has a Death Stranding baby! Oh, It's a Death Stranding baby! What the? What was that? Something just popped from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the decision's La Carnival steak. On the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Theo Sanosa, is lying! Did not see the defendant firing the gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Kiarg. It's Death Stranding, baby! Holy crap! There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But evidently so. It's a Death Stranding, baby! Hold on, we gotta... someone call Norman Reedus. Hi, Norman, there's a Death Stranding baby. You gotta... Yeah, but it's but it's at the back of a sergeant, and it's a Death Stranding baby, and... Yeah? But it... What do you mean you don't care? But it's a Death Stranding baby who's... Oh. But it's important... Fine, then go take a bath. It's... Death Stranding baby. He was busy, it seems. But I immediately saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
Yes! But I never fired the gun. Yes. All I did was pick it up from the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either. Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interests me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. On the floor, maybe cigarette butts from the Ming Dynasty. Yes. Treasure? Indeed. The Hoye Erakoban, my prized coin. Could it be hidden in between your teeth? On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Rasute, in the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I preferred my Hoy treasure. I believe that he would purchase such a rare find. I did not. But I was presented with little alternative. Right. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments... How did it not break that vase? I have no idea. After averting, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished. Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with my absconded Hoy treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoi Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prized coin for himself. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchi? Chihaha, worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well, the court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Oh, awaiting signal to testify, sir. And your Death Stranding baby is weird and creepy, and could you please have it wait somewhere else? Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulders, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up from the ranks, sir. Name Aido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Aido, attention! Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. And blow your nose, Jesus Christ. Testimony, let's go. Love the baby section. Alright, the true culprit, let's go. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. No, it is not. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. That doesn't sound true. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. But I can't prove it yet, though. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. These testimonies are certainly... Yes! Compelling, indeed. Yes, Jesus. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at this table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
Objection! If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Indeed. Of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. Need to find that yes audio clip. Yeah, I'm probably gonna use that for something at some point. Yeah, me too. If nothing else, I'll just record one myself at some point. Or like, sorry, like capture one myself or something. Maybe. This doesn't make any sense. courtroom will add this new photographic evidence to the record. A bottle of carbonated water and a steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. Right. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies I've just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. Yes, the Adjectiven Treaty. Yes, the very important Adjectiven, or something. To think that I, Taketsuchi Auchi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. But the ... How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. I rule. Stand tall, Ruinosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it. To draw out the truth in your cross-examination. Can I cross-examine with your katana? You already have it pulled out a little bit. I'll just grab the hilt and just cross-examine, make a really nice cross of all the witnesses, and we'll find out the truth when we split all the witnesses in 4 pieces. It's gonna be good. Yes. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. Ugh. Let's go. The true culprit. Alright, so... I'm sensing that I need to press something. Let's try this.
Yes!
Yes! You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there had been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 PM when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 PM is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Consul? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It was seen that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hotte Clinic, referencing to Hotti Clinic in the game number 2, the Justice for All game, at least there. I think that clinic is in some of the other ones too. 19th November, noon to past 1 PM. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder... What do you think, Ruinosuke? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request it for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report card to be submitted as evidence or not? Yes!
Yes!
Yes! If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? On battlegrounds, yes. The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Objection! Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Yes, rights are very... It's such a nuisance to have these things like rights. Yes, it's such a problem. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Medical report card from Hota Clinic found in the victim's pocket. Alright. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. I love that the guy who is half the age of the prosecutor sounds more manly. I do too, but it is true though. Like, age is not necessarily like doesn't mean how much bass or soprano or high pitch or whatever voice one has. Like, I know a guy who's I think 2 years older than me, and he has the best bass voice anyone's probably ever heard. Like, the chillest of the chill bass voices. And, you know, it sometimes happens, you know. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korekuta-san. Alright, hold on, let's just check the thing. So, examine this. Or, well, examine something, surely. We'll check this one first. Alright. I'm wondering why I can't examine that, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Kitchen, entrance, back. Right. Alright. Like, I want to take a closer look at the card there, but I am not so far being... Oh, wait, maybe... Hold on. Maybe push through this first. Oh, I didn't. There. Excellent work, Ruinasuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes. But I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? There we are. Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence, so perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you can examine. Press space and you can, you know, the button space that it just happens in just when you go to Japan in the 1900s or the late 1800s. There's this thing called the space button that you just press in the courtroom, and you just it's all fine. And then you go to space, it's fine. You left. I can't get over how in some of, like, this is a quote-unquote older game in the sense that I forget the exact year this came out, but let's say when did this come out in Japan? Maybe the late or noughties, like 2010, a little before, maybe ish, or just after 2012, maybe. Just throwing numbers, but like it came out on the DS, I think, in Japan. So that was still the time when games did this, like, hey, like in the game's universe, they say, oh, hey, press these buttons. I'm like, buttons? Like what? Up, down, left, right, huh? To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using WASD, you can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. This is around steampunk area, right? So everyone carries around a small keyboard, right? Yeah, sure. It's just like in Typing of the Dead, where they just have a huge typewriter in front of them, like dee dee dee. Let's go. I think some of the older Yakuza games did that too, where they have like, hey, press these buttons, and I'm like, what? I haven't played Yakuza games, but I've seen that in, I think, old Yakuza games. Not the remasters, but the, like, OG ones. I actually have the remastered Yakuzas. I probably will play them at some point. If the crosshair starts to pulsate, press space, again, to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use and space to inspect any areas of the evidence that look suspicious. Hotta clinic. Required for every visit. Dentist. Boom. It looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of a long-term treatment, that's why, with a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine going to a doctor. I mean, as long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, the keyword being as long as you're alive, because that might not be too long if that's your attitude, my dude. Well, if you were dead, then there'd be no point, so you don't like doctors then. Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine, they give you painful injections. And then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege, all when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient. With a bad case of stubbornness, no less, for which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. Right. The point being, now that we know it's a dentist thing, that means it's probably... It says Hotta Clinic on this medical report card. I hate clinics, almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. And remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. Brrr. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have had only one cold in their whole life. Yeah? And also, there's a bunch of injections people also would give their arm to have in the exact correct circumstances. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. You don't want to miss anything. Yeah. Can't find anything out of place. Right, so... I think that's everything, yeah? Oh, no, wait. Haha! Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's an entry for the date the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? it would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas, that's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink beside water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. The medical report card's information has been updated in the court record. Alright. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes! So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely! Let's go. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment to do that. Okay, before we do that though, there was something else I wanted to look at from the, let's see. Can I have a look at this in more detail now? Haha! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. This is the card of the waiter. Waiter. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Boom. Boom. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here, Satoru Hosonaga? Well, yes. Business cards do tend to show the person's name, that's sort of the point. It's not the same that's unexpected. The name that's unexpected, it's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence if they are wielding it somehow here. There we go. That's pretty good. Anything else that's worth... it all looks to be yet the same thing. Okay, good. Cool. This plan of the restaurant raises a number of questions, I think. Definitely. It's supposed to show the relative disposition of everything in the moments following the incident, but there's nothing to show the woman you say you saw there. Exactly, and that's not all. Look here in the upper left, where it says kitchen. Oh yeah, what of it? No one would use those complicated characters to write kitchen, especially not if they were in a hurry. Fair. You mean you don't remember those characters yourself, don't you? Study harder, Ruinosuke. Alright. Alright, fine. Oh, cool. We found important! Yes. Okay, okay, that was a lot to take in. Hold on, where was it again? That probably. Yeah. Okay, here. E for present. This. Okay, fingers crossed, yeah? Let's go.
Yes!
Yes! Well, I think, pretty good, even if I say so myself. About what are you withering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I need to actually make a quick, thing here. Ruinosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally under the circumstances. I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully. You knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Yes! Right? That is what I wanted to say and wanted to hear. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully, just say what you're thinking. Alright. And thanks for the advice. Korekuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And, I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Objection! Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Iron and Pie! Gonna be here lurk. Cool, but hey, I hope you've had an excellent day, and thank you for the lurk. Every single lurk is also much appreciated. It all counts. Watching, chatting, lurking, everything. Everything counts. All hosts, all lurks, or watch, or bits, or subscriptions, everything all counts, and I hope you've had an excellent day. Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. Amateurish. But let's see if I can explain it in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at that restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. Ahahahaha, though. Grr. But that's, Remember, Ruinosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else beside this pale-faced pupil who could have... This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hotta Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted. What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Haha. Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? Orders are important in your line of work, though. That's... It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't. Korekuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more? You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Grrr. Also because, just a side note here. See, like, between this photo, like, at the point of gunshot, well, after, once he had been killed, and between that and then this photo that was taken quote-unquote just after the fact, there's been more eating happening, which is quite odd. There's always more. Every single time there's more. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Ah! Expertly done, partner. Even his Death Stranding baby is petrified. Objection! What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Objection! Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about, or can't you follow the logic? How dare you! I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ruinosuke? Yes, most definitely. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been the victim himself, me, the two witnesses, or an as yet unknown third party. That's my go-to here. Boom. Finally, he can hit the table like a true ace attorney. That's how it goes. The first time, I think. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
Objection! You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
Yes, there was! There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. Erg. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? I think that might sometimes be important, yes. If it's legal. Don't worry, counsel, I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them. Those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So if it now turns out that the two of you were deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No! Hold it! Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Haha! We have unraveled the cahoots. Yes, they were in cahoots the whole time. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korekuta-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders. Now hold on, lad, I was, say you never saw the gentlewoman. Grrr. Yes. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean... you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
Objection! What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Oh my. Order, counsel, explain what is going on here. It is painfully clear now, you tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. The vase is gonna hide him so well. It's an excellent hiding place, yes. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Ruinosuke. Judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It can only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Haha, the police. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Haha, I have an idea. Of course, we'll need evidence before we can make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. Honestly, I don't think that's provable. Okay. Unless we can procure a 1890s video camera with somehow sound, which wasn't a thing yet. Or a gramophone recording right at the exact angle of the waiter detective saying "say nothing" and it will all be okay. If we don't have that, we can't prove that. So we can say, haha, a business card with a name. It doesn't prove anything. It's just like a thing to point out an idea that, like, hey, it could be him. That's not proof, my dude. Kazuma, better lawyering. Legal Eagle would be very angry with you. But how? How can we possibly? Remember how we made progress before? Before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. I'm a bit ahead of you. Come on. Oh yes, that's right. That's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers! If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please wait, Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I don't know how many there are, really, but cool. I knew nothing! And what does the defense have to say about all this, well, Your Excellency. No time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first thing that comes to my head. That's not how you should probably be doing that, but alright. Let's see. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... this one! Satoru Hosonaga.
Yes!
Yes! Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Well, there we are. Hosonaga-san, the waiter who took the stand earlier? Valkyrie, hi! Welcome, I hope you've had an excellent...
Objection!
I'm doing objections and yelling yes a lot, because instead of objection, our character yells yes, which I find might be a bit of a problem if he's ever asked, do you plead guilty? And you can just like, yes, and then there's an issue. But hi, I hope you've had an excellent day, Valkyrie. Poppycock. What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? Come on, Ruinosuke, time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity, as proven by this evidence. Waiter's business card. Let's go.
Yes!
Yes! See? The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure as we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, it's the back of the card. It's the back of the bag that's the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Just came from her time to sit down and relax. Oh, cool. Well, remember to have lots of buns and relax with a good drink with the bun. It's gonna be good. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front. Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Turn the card around, my dude. It's not that hard. Turn around. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession, but that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is the police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power, as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand... Was it in fact the waiter who gave you the orders? Was it he who told you to not mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Haha. Well... Hold it! Oh, it's the one with the tuberculosis again. Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Right, yeah, we remember. I think we can just... Yes, we saw this. The same stuff. Yeah. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. He did like sweated when like, business card, oh dear. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. So, in order to make your investigation flawless, you decided to coerce two witnesses into perjuring themselves, into not telling the court that there was a lady who would be a prime suspect to the murder, who, from her placement, possibly did it too. Not sure though, but could have. And on top of this, your flawless thing ended with you giving your own business card to the court, revealing your true identity instead of your undercover identity. That is a flawless work right there, my dude. Right, good, great. I'm glad we're all on the same page here. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. I see. Were you looking at too much anime, perhaps? It was an unusually careless mistake. See, I could, well, like, maybe he was just, like, watching Akira while doing it and just, like, it just happens, you know? So you mean to say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working at a restaurant, as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. Your salary must be... I was working undercover. Right. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. I don't believe you, my dude. Just putting it out there. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga. I mean, he did just, like, again, cause two people to perjure themselves in order to try and convict an innocent person. Just saying. It's not a great look. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard the new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Ahem. And again, just get him out of the courtroom. He's probably contagious, and just call it not guilty, and we're just good. Yes? Yes. Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. In cahoots! Yes. As always. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. How special were they then? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once? Is it like diplomatic immunity or what? It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. So, you know, the police officer's just like, you know, covering for the murderer. I think it's just normal and fine. Yep, good, great, thanks. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. Again, that's not how the law works or how justice works either. I realize there are, like, you know, different tier justice systems, like, you know, one for the poor and one for the rich, but I still object. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. Anything? Really? Anything? I find that, like surely it's high on the list, but, you know, higher than anything, meaning you're implying that the Empire would be willing to sacrifice the lives of every single one of its citizens for the relationship with Britain. Are you absolutely sure of that wording, my dude? Just asking for a friend. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an English woman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. Right. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. The case of the Phantom Woman, right. But it's not right. Dot dot dot. I was thinking that a dot 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 would be happening. I had a feeling. An inkling of a dot dot dot. A premonition, if you will. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. And I'm fairly certain that one of them studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory is a young Englishwoman. What? How can a young Englishwoman study stuff and stuff? In the 1890s, are we progressive? Oh my goodness. You're a shrewd man. I mean, I'm just guessing the year, but it's just like in the ballpark, right? I can see why you're like, I'm just wondering, like, why is our character that that, like, surprised. Like, yeah, they have exchange students. It just said so. Like, come on now. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Okay. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university's professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. I'm not hearing an immediate pun in that name, but I'm like, okay. I'm trying to think, but I can't bring out one just yet. I haven't. I mean, I'm not trying to like joke with the names. I'm like, many of the names are pun names. I'm just like trying to work out if some of them are. You know, just like it sometimes takes me a bit, but I'm not seeing one immediately there. No. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Umeå University's medical faculty. But what is happening here? Why is everyone surprised about an exchange student? Like, they've said multiple times over that there are exchange students. Like, why is everyone just like, ha, mind blown, exchange student? Like, yeah? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, except for the steak she ate. Hold on, he's supposed to be a flawless detective, and he had orders, like, I don't agree with the orders, mind you, but he had orders to erase all evidence of the lady's presence at the scene, but he left the steak the lady was eating. The lady was sitting in a restaurant, eating dinner. He got orders to remove the evidence of her presence, and he left the dinner the lady was eating. Are we sure that he's actually not a waiter, like, all over again, and not a detective, actually? Because, well, like, what? 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 Not a very bright one, no, that's, right. And ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. Those glasses, like, just sort of jumped or they were like, it must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Not guilty, and everyone goes home and plays Witcher 3. Cool. I think we're good here. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection!
Objection! But Your Excellency, my prosecutorial career is based on giving false and hasteful or getting false and hasteful verdicts and never ever to rely on the facts of the case just to hear a guilty because I want one. That's what the prosecutors tend to kind of be in these games, at least for a bit. Especially a certain Franziska von Karma, that's a bad one, right there. That would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. We can report to them how it's going, just without a ruling. That's perfectly fine. If her queenship has a problem with this, she can go sit down in a chair and really think about it in silence. Yes. And read a book, or whatever queens do. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Council. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. How can you be on the... You're supposed to be an instrument of learning the facts of the case, or to bring a case into the truthful justice, result, the just result. That's what the prosecutor should be, not just, hi, I want guilty, even though their facts are all wrong. Bye. Cool. Like, I'd love to be, like, how easy of a job is it to be a prosecutor in the Ace Attorney universe? Just like, okay, so, hi, Mr. Judge, I want a guilty, even though all the facts are pointing to a different direction, and all the facts I have presented are all wrong, but still guilty, please, and just there. Like, good God, man, these people. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders that you were given from the police bureau. You're in a courtroom, my dude, as I said before. It is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. You've made like 12 mistakes already. I think it's pretty much too late for that. Sorry. So, it won't be a problem? I mean, could we just, like, at least, I don't like the other witnesses either because they perjured themselves, but could they maybe at least not be so close to the clearly dying detective here who's dying of probably a combination of tuberculosis and COVID and stuff. Just, like, Jesus. Nothing will get in my way. I can almost imagine a middle finger coming up right there. Yet you hit evidence. That too. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued. Hell yeah! Save your poker. Cool. Good. Learning from my last playthrough of an Ace Attorney game, I'm gonna do like these couple of hour-ish long recordings instead and no longer. So whenever like this intermission happens, I'm gonna call the recording there and then continue in the next recording. So if you're watching this on YouTube, smash that power off button and something if you like the video. Yes, but I thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again in the next video, and all that good stuff. Like and subscribe if you wanna, but power off button is also an option, even if you like it even more. Yes. But anyway, and join me here live on Twitch if you want to, because it's a cool thing, I hope, and maybe fun once. Yes, good. Mm-hmm.